Frank Heffley has toxic masculinity. And just a fair warning, I don't really believe in toxic masculinity. I don't think that's a thing, but for the sake of this video, suppose I do believe in it. The first issue that comes up was when Greg was a little kid and his dad and his mother saw his wish list. Greg wanted a Barbie treehouse because he thought it would be an awesome fort for his toy soldiers. However, his dad disagreed, saying that there was no way he was going to get Greg a doll's house. Very likely because it was meant for girls, because Greg's dad said that he should start his wish list over and pick toys that were more appropriate for boys. Keep in mind that Greg once said that once his mom makes up her mind, there's no way you can change it. Which means that Greg's dad was so impassioned and so fiery about this particular incident that he was somehow able to win the argument over her. Looks like Frank is complying with the gender normative Frank also wants his son to get in shape, and when Greg finally expresses an interest in weightlifting, he decides to buy a brand new weight set. Just like that. And keep in mind that Frank didn't want Greg to do the school play because that would interfere with his weightlifting schedule. It also appears that Frank isn't really affectionate with his kids. Now, this could be an American thing, because I've largely grown up in a non-traditional household, and I was generally a lot more affectionate with my father than I probably would be if I was raised in an American household. But the fact that this creates awkward moments means that Frank really doesn't care too much for his kids, only when their interests coincide with his. Well, at least that is better than forcing them to comply with his whims, as he wanted to send Greg to military school. Now, I mean this in all sincerity. Up to that point, Greg wasn't a bad kid. Sure, he doesn't get the best grades, and yes, he's a bit of a wimp, meaning that he's just not yet tough enough. But in my opinion, military school is reserved for those who either want to go, or who genuinely don't have any rein or restriction in their lives. Greg hasn't done nearly as bad of things as Roderick or Lenwood Heth did. He's just a regular kid with his own interests. Frank seems to have an infatuation with the military, as he has a Civil War battlefield in the basement that he doesn't let anyone touch. I will admit I am a Civil War buff myself, but nowhere to the point where I have a battle diorama. And in the movies he partakes in a Civil War reenactment, and fortunately it is for the